Arsenal had they had a blast. It was a great game for Zichenko. My guy Zichenko.
Dude, the Karate Kid. Oh, yes,
Master Sensei.
Yeah. That was impressive.
Yeah. He had a great game.
I've got an interesting stat really fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because there's already enough banter around it. But
what is it?
Tell us. Just the Arsenal midfield touches and passes numbers. So Rice had 45 touches with 37 passes completed. Jorginho had 57 touches with 48 passes completed.
Dang.
And Kai Havertz had 31 touches with 22 passes completed.
Mamma mia.
So he is consistently producing almost half the other midfield, like whatever the midfield produces on an individual basis, he is producing just above half and pretty much has been all season. Now he's had better games lately. He has been more forward-minded. He has been making more creative passes and not just looking for horizontal ways to dump the ball off to shield himself from responsibility. But they're obviously having to make up for his lack of productivity in the midfield. That is kind of just that is an objective fact.
Yeah.
Despite him playing better.
Is it? Is it an objective fact?
That he is well, it's an objective fact that he is playing better than he was.
Yeah.
And it is also an objective fact that he is producing
more,
much less than the other midfielders around him, despite him playing better.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will. I don't know. So they kind of had a different strategy in this game. It was very interesting. Martinelli was doing a lot of the heavy lifting down the wing, getting the ball down to just outside the box, and he would then drop it back off for Zinchenko, who is probably 5 or 6 yards outside the box, and he just rifles in, crosses into the center forward area.
Yeah.
And that seemed to work very well. A lot of good chances were created in that mode. A lot of goals were created in that mode.
Yeah.
That's where I think that Zinchenko is really... that keeps Zinchenko from being exposed because he's not making overly forward runs and attempting to thread passes through and putting himself out of position. He's still playing more forward than a left back would, but he's basically splitting the difference. He's not hanging back too far, but he's in the position to make good crosses in while allowing Martinelli to be the one that's moving forward the most. It seems to be working in a safer way, but allowing Zinchenko to be part of the offensive build-up.
Well, my thing is... really, my real problem with these games, the referees. So I don't think Fabio Vieira red card was a red card. I think at best it's a yellow card. The leg is not extended. It's not high up. He's going for the ball. It's low down. So when it usually is low down, you at least a yellow card. And the
he didn't follow through. He didn't stomp.
Yeah, he didn't.
It dragged across the shin.
And the inconsistency in refereing these games are just so apparent and so blatantly. And you get this though. A lot of people were, because most of these decisions are in favor of Newcastle and City.
Yeah.
And some people were like, oh, that's the oil money.
It's not even so much a debate of like whether these are fouls or not. It's the fact that all these, like,
because look at
if there are 10 fouls, certain red cards should be yellows, certain yellows should be reds, and it's like we're all agreeing that they're fouls, but like there's no consistency in terms of the level of foul that it is. So it makes it very difficult to read.
Also, like you watch Newcastle, people were like Arsenal. People were like, that was a foul. Was it on Anthony?
Yeah.
Or Gordon?
No, so the one that for the Gordon goal.
Yeah.
Joe Linton pushed Gabriel in the back with two hands in the back of his neck. Yeah.
That wasn't a foul. That's what people said.
And I thought that was absolutely insane. Because
now
they'd also say like, why didn't Gabriel jump? No, because Joe Linton's hands were in the back of his fucking neck.
No,
that's why.
When City played, the Haaland, was it Haaland and Cucurella? That was a foul and that was a penalty. Yeah. So if you start picking up all these things that were foul or not supposed to be foul, or fouls that are supposed to be foul, you realize that there's so much inconsistency.
Right. Exactly.
These referees need to sit down in the room and decide how or what level or what has to happen for a foul to be valid.
And they should broadcast this. Could you imagine a room of like 80 referees with like one guy has a gavel?
Because this game a ref gives someone pushing a penalty and the next game a ref doesn't give that, that puts in question the credibility of the organization.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of people were saying that this foul I always in favor of City and Newcastle. That's the oil money talking. So we don't know. But back to it. Arsenal had the game. I mean, it's Burnley. They're supposed to win.
Yes.
There's no. But I guess the way they played, I was so surprised. Saka was. I thought he would have done more since this is Burnley, but Trossard had an amazing game. He was excellent.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great corners. Oh my god.
Trossard, he definitely killed it. Weah still, he's still the man choosing to keep the goal safe. So I don't know what you guys gonna do about it, but he's the guy in charge.
He had one or two good-looking saves.
Yeah.
The rest are pretty by the book.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu kind of falls in his coverage for that led to the Burnley goal.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't great, but the bigger issue I thought was the lack of communication with the center backs. It wasn't so much that Tomiyasu falls, but really the one that was really scary to me was you saw where Jorginho got his head cut.
Yeah.
You see that?
No, I didn't see that.
So it was really, really late in the game. It was on a corner, and Jorginho goes to head the ball out, and Jakub Kiwior goes to kick the ball out, and he just shaves the top of his head with it.
I remember people saying, why wasn't that a red card?
No, well, it was his own teammate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they both kind of went for it, and the issue wasn't even really one. Kiwior had been on for like 4 minutes, and then kicks his own player in the head. That wasn't that bad. What ended up happening was Kiwior's clearance was lackluster, and then Saliba and Tomiyasu, like it bobbles.
Yeah.
It doesn't go out of the box. It kind of just goes up in the air because he kind of whiffs the shot, and then Tomiyasu and Saliba are kind of like, what the fuck do I do with this? Like the ball gets to take a bounce in the 6-yard box before they get to clear it. That was a bit scary because like it's one thing to kick your own player in the head, fine, but the ball did get to linger for about 2 seconds untouched right outside goal. And it's like, you cannot do that against other sides in Europe or with bigger sides in England. Like there was definitely miscommunication with that back line in terms of who was going to clear that ball out in that mistake.